Right, let's just settle into our meditation posture. And as we've been doing, just check your legs, specifically your feet if they're down on the ground. Have something underneath supporting your feet, a cushion or something. And if you've got sore hips, tight knees, tight hips, please do put a cushion under either one or both knees just to support yourself. And make sure you're sitting on something firm, and make sure you're just a little bit raised. I mean, you can even sit comfortably on a zafu. It's kind of more comfortable if you're sitting meditating for a longer period of time, if you're actually, your sit bones are higher than the soles of your feet. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. Hands in the meditation mudra, right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. Just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of your head. Out of the top of the head, imagine the crown of your head is reaching for the ceiling. And perhaps there's somebody above you, just very gently lengthening that string of pearls of light. So you're creating some space in between your vertebrae. The head now is slightly tipped forward, eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose, tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And relax. Just relax the jaw. Relax your mind. Just bring our awareness to the top of the head, the scalp, and relax the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth. Then bring your awareness to the back of the head and a little bit down to the occipital bone. And just imagine your scalp all around that area is relaxing. And you'll notice that when you do that, your face will relax again. And relax the ears, the inner ear, and the temples, and the back of the neck and the shoulders, the upper thoracic, in between the shoulder blades. Bring your attention to the throat and the chest and the belly. Just relax. And relax the limbs, the hands, the fingers, the feet, and the toes. And although I say relax, keep the alignment that we set in the beginning. And just one more thing about the head. If you can, just glide the head very gently back in alignment with the shoulders, if it's possible, if that's available to you to do. And let's just bring our mind to the breath and notice the sensation of the air as you're breathing in and out. It's cooler as you breathe in, slightly warmer as you breathe out. If there are any sounds in your external environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow them with your mind. Push them away if you don't like the sound. And then notice your thoughts as they arise. They'll abide. And if you don't engage with them, they'll just naturally dissipate. So try not to engage just for the next half hour. Even though you may have had something happen at work, something's going to be happening tomorrow, you've you've got things to do before you go to bed. Just try and keep your mind steady, keep your mind in the same place your body is, which is on the cushion right now. So this next half hour is for you, for your practice. So any distracting thoughts, just let them go. Try not to grab onto them. And keep the mind on the breath. Let's just bring to mind all the people of our life. Our loved ones, the ones who we are so blessed to have in our lives. Ones we care about. Who take care of us. Friends, basically. And then there's those ones that we're a little bit irritated by, they're irritated by us. We put them in the enemy category. And then we have those people who we're completely indifferent to. We don't think either one way or another. We couldn't care less. We don't think about them. But what we should try and do in our mind is develop equal concern for each of these three categories of people, for the people in each of these three categories. And be as concerned for the people that we don't like when we hear that they're suffering in some way, as we would for our very dearest friend. But we're human, it's difficult. But anyway, we try. It's something to think about, equanimity. So one thing to think to help with equanimity is to remember that they're all the same in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering. And they all have this incredible potential for enlightenment. So I just think we'll do this meditation this evening for all the people of our life, by extension all sentient beings, and you can include those sentient beings now who are suffering from the next variant that seems to be appearing. Excuse me, and then of course there's Ukraine. It's probably in everyone's mind right now. So think of all these people. You can imagine the people who don't have an opportunity to do Vajrasattva practice. You can imagine they're beside you doing it with you. And we're doing it for ourselves as we make our way along the path. So just remember, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. This is a psychological process we're engaging in. We create negativity with our mind, so we're going to counteract it by creating positive imprints, doing this practice. So the first of the four opponent powers is the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being today, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret them all. And the reason to regret is based on the logic of karma. And given that we experience everything due to our past actions, our past karma, having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And suffering is kind of boring, it's difficult, obstacles, time-consuming. And given that we understand all about suffering, it would logically make sense not to invite any more in when we don't have to. So here we would want to think about pulling out those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. So we also here regret our delusions, our anger, our attachment, our jealousy, our neediness, our depression, our bitterness and grudges, disappointments, because these are the cause of why we harm others. So again, think I'm sick of this suffering. And think then, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. It has two sections, refuge and compassion. So refuge, we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We purify ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head. He's your guru manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. So not necessarily the guru, the mind of your teacher, your Lama, your trusted mentor. He's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon disk. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by mud. And it's very much like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. So Vajrasattva's face is radiant and beautiful. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for us. So he has no negative thoughts towards you. He just accepts you exactly as you are. No problem. Meets you where you're at. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I am enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may reach Buddhahood, so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we do need to rely upon other beings. We can't just generate this out of nowhere. So think about the beings that you have harmed and try and develop a sense of a wish for them to not suffer. And then the ones who have harmed you. And it's a bit more difficult because we do want them to suffer. It's a bit like revenge, but it's better, much better, to develop compassion for them. Because of the suffering that they've caused you, they are going to definitely experience suffering in the future. So we can have compassion towards them because of that. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is doing the practice of purification. And there are, first of all, we'll start with the body, purifying the body. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar. It's almost like coming out of a hose, fountain, waterfall, showerhead. Just imagine anyway, just a strong, fairly powerful waterfall pouring into your head, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out into space, pours out of you into space, and disappears, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And just think as soon as anyone sees you or smells you or looks at you, it benefits their mind. The next is a purification of the speech. And again, Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this quite strongly overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So as I've been saying, Lama Rinpoche says you can imagine it's like the wind blowing a hat off your head. So imagine that all the gossiping and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta Mebelwa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebelwa Sutokaya Mebelwa Supokaya Mebelwa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe hum vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine that it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So as soon as they hear your sweet voice, it benefits their mind. So wouldn't that be amazing? So the next is a purification of the mind, and Guru Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same as when you walk into a room and switch on a light. That light dispels the darkness instantly. So it's the same here. As soon as the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of the mind is instantly dispelled. So all your anger and your depression and your attachment and your neediness, anxiety, and grasping and thinking you're not enough, thinking there's something wrong with you, being jealous, disappointed and bitter, all of these delusions, it's not who we really are, instantly dispelled by the light and the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally gone. So I think there is no space in your heart for anything now other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So the next is a purification of the imprints of negative energy of the body, speech and mind. It's just what's left over. So we can recite the mantra with the visualizations of the body, speech and mind, just a couple of times for each one. Or you can just imagine light and nectar pouring into you as you recite the mantra, and as it does, imagine it's eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next is the power of resolve, and this is such a crucial step. But first of all, just rejoice in your progress. And even as Lorraine was saying earlier, I still find myself caught up in it a bit. But the fact that you even want to refrain from doing something, that you find yourself in a situation where, here I am again, but I don't really like this, and I'm really wanting to remove myself from this kind of thing, that is fantastic. So even though maybe not 100% successful, do not worry, it'll come eventually. And what will happen is, if you make the wish strongly enough, what will happen is you won't even find yourself in that situation. So you'll probably find just miraculously, all of a sudden, somehow you won't be in the room or something when this kind of discussion comes up. So just have courage and rejoice in the efforts that you're making. So every single one of you has probably been working on something. And just rejoice in the fact that you want to even work on that thing. So just bring to mind, again, something that you would like to refrain from doing. And you can just say, well, I won't talk about people behind their back from the time I go to bed till the time I wake up. So you've kept that vow for yourself. So keep it really simple. And if you find you're in a room full of people who are having these kind of conversations, you can just say to yourself, okay, so well, I will refrain from joining in for 30 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes, and I'll just listen. So like that. And again, rejoice, because making a decision to not harm is what gives us the courage and the strength to change. So Guru Vajrasattva, delighted with all of us, wanting to merge with your mind, he melts into light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So place your mind in that emptiness for a moment. You can think of all phenomena as being empty, they don't exist from their own side. We can also think that perhaps the way I'm viewing things, the way things appear to me, may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created this evening together doing this practice to all living beings, and thinking, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And the long life prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honouring the three jewels, savour of myself and others your disciples, please, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers and far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. Vakeshi Sherab, beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Thank you, everyone, so much. Well done. And lots of love, and sleep well, and stay safe until I see you all again, which will probably be tomorrow night.
Thank you so much, Venerable.
Thank you.